I mean, I understand, like, some people get moved, but like it seemed like I was the only person getting moved around more than anybody else. And this wasn't because I was talking with anyone. You know, I don't know exactly what it was, but I just noticed that there was a change in the way they were doing things. So yeah, I was like I said, I carpooled my buddy from Senegal, and we used to practice speaking Wolof, and I had my paper. I had to carry the pad around. I used to write down the stuff that he taught me, and people just thought I was weird. Now let me say this: not just the Caucasians, the white folks. There were black folks there confused too. They just didn't understand me, you know. And I spoke with other people too. They just couldn't figure me out because they saw me speaking in these languages. I was speaking with my friend, and then there was a Russian guy there. I was able to speak Russian as well, get Russian practice. And every time I saw this guy, I always greet him in Russian. You know, we have a short conversation. And people knew that, and it started getting around that, okay, this guy, he knows other languages, you know. And the funniest thing was there was a Chinese guy there. I didn't even know that. I saw him like the second day I worked, but I didn't know he was Chinese. But I was working on the doors. I was putting like I don't know, there was some type of nails or whatever. I had to screw them in the door. And then he was in the group. There was him, and there were like 3 other Caucasian guys, and they were just sitting there talking. They were like right behind me, and then like it stopped. Like the car, like there was like if you guys ever worked in the factory before, it was like a line. Like the doors, they were moving like at this speed, and I had to hurry up and put the nails in. You have to do it real quick. So when it was time to go on break, like everything stopped. Everything stopped, and then the guys were just sitting there, and I turned around. I took my gloves off. And I saw his name tag. It said like Xiao Yu or something like that. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, I asked him, I was like, yeah. Or I was like, how long I asked him how long he's been working there for. He said he's been there for like 10 years or something. And then I was like, oh, where are you from? And he said, I'm from China. And then like I started speaking to him. I asked him some questions in Chinese. And then he did just like that. He was like, he jumped back, and he looked at the 3 guys. And then he was like, wow. He was like, and it was just so funny because all of a sudden when he looked at the 3 guys, he said, yeah, this guy speaks Chinese really well. And then I didn't know what to say. I was kind of shaking a little bit because I was kind of on the spot. And then like he started asking me stuff in Chinese, and you know, we had this conversation. And then that's when I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on break and eat something. And then from that day on, that's when it really got bad. They didn't like me after that. I mean, I got the stares. You thought the stares were bad the first time, but after that day, they saw it all. They saw me, you know, that first day doing that Japanese, and then doing that Wolof, and then speaking the mother language, and then coming to Chinese. They didn't like that. And then I had the floor manager. He would come. He's like, yeah, come to the office, and you know, he would say some racist stuff too. Like he said some stuff like, yeah, you must be. I don't know, like he expected me not to, I don't know, I can't explain it. He's like, yeah, I bet you can do this. He's just saying some racist stuff. I didn't react to it, but I just could tell, you know. But it was crazy out there. I just, you know, on break, when I would go eat, I would be with my friend. I would eat with him, and it was segregated too. You had your blacks over here on one side, you had your Caucasian on one side. It was like segregated. You never really saw a mixed group, and even some Asians, they were sitting by themselves. But I was the only black person like sitting with different groups. You know, I wasn't with just the black people. I was with my friend, and then I would sit with the Asians, you know, and just try to practice the languages and stuff. But yeah, everybody there, the blacks, the whites, and I mean, it was just, I was getting stares and negative energy from all of them, but it didn't bring me down. It felt strange, but I didn't feel like demotivated or anything. You know, I didn't feel that, you know, oh, I don't want to work here anymore because of this energy. It just, you know, I was happy, and it actually motivates me when people, you know, when they look at me like that and they feel that, you know, wow, you know, you shouldn't know this, you should know that. It kind of motivates me to learn more, and that's the positivity that I always talk about. Just like how Chuck said in his video, the guys looking at him and cutting him off, don't want him, you know, not letting him talk. You know, that goes to show you how uncomfortable people are, you know. And sure, I know that a lot of people see us, you know, black people as, you know, well, he's just, you know, we want to do certain things, we strive for certain things, no broaden our horizons. But you know, somebody fool around and get their feelings hurt. You know, you generalize people like that, you won't be able to handle it. You be uncomfortable. So yeah, that experience, it was a hell of an experience, you know. And like I said, this is revolving around language learning. You know, I was already, like I said, being black out there was one thing, but then going out there being able to speak multiple languages, it really lit up the whole place. It lit up the whole place. So yeah, that experience. And then I had some other experiences where I was when I was taking classes at OSU, I remember I took Farsi, and I had this one girl, actually a couple girls, white girls in the class. They were just every day. Like, actually, I was late. I think it was the first. This was like the second day of class. I went in there, and then the teacher was trying to test me. He was saying like, oh, he's like, do you know? He was asking me some dumb questions like, oh, do you know how to write your name in Farsi or stuff like that? And I just went up to the board and wrote it on the board. And then like I don't know, it's like as the class went on during the quarter, like he would give us homework and we had to make up our own sentences and stuff. And when I came to class, I would write my sentence on the board, and then he was like, I mean, he clearly saw me write it on the board, but he was like, "Who wrote that?" He's like, "Who wrote that?" Because it was a pretty good sentence compared to the other ones that was written on the board. And he was just like, "Who wrote that?" And then, I mean, he saw me when I wrote on the board, but it was just weird stuff, weird stuff, weird stuff. I was getting some weird reactions, and then I would just get people in the class staring at me every day, like, "What are you doing in here?" You know, I was the only black person in the class anyway. So, but that didn't make me feel uncomfortable. I felt good. I felt really good because I know that I know what people expect. I know they're going to have